A PowerPoint presentation on meeting the needs of students with disabilities. Title slide. A collaborative effort. Meeting the needs of students with disabilities at Cal Poly. Next slide. 10 things to know about students with disabilities. Next slide. Number 1. Refer to the DRC website at www.drc.calpoly.edu. This slide gives a screenshot of the Disability Resource Center's homepage. A PowerPoint presentation on meeting the needs of students with disabilities. Title slide. A collaborative effort. Meeting the needs of students with disabilities at Cal Poly. Next slide. 10 things to know about students with disabilities. Next slide. Number 1. Refer to the DRC website at www.drc.calpoly.edu. This slide gives a screenshot of the Disability Resource Center's homepage. Next slide, entitled Visit the Faculty Room, with a web page link, www.washington.edu/doit/faculty. This slide gives a screenshot of the University of Washington's webpage entitled The Faculty Room, which is a space for faculty and administrators at post-secondary institutions to learn about the ways to maximize the learning of all students, including those with disabilities, in their classrooms. Next slide. Number 2. VISA, which means Verified Instructional Services and Accommodations. This slide provides a screenshot to the Disability Resource Center's VISA form, which includes specific information regarding the student's name, their access specialist name, the date they were approved for services, as well as the expiration of their service date, and examples of services and accommodations that include extended time on tests, testing in a distraction-reduced setting, the use of a standard computer or spell checker for essay-based exams, the use of a note taker, approval for document conversion, which can include text to voice, braille, enlarged print, options for assistive listening devices, and sign language/oral interpreters, or computer-aided transcribing. Next slide. Number 3. Students with disabilities at Cal Poly in the year 2011 to 2012. 75 to 80% of students had impairments that affect learning. Included on the slide is a screenshot that includes students with permanent disabilities. These include categories such as a learning disability, a mobility impairment, a visual impairment, a hearing impairment, ABI health or functional impairment, psychological, ADD, ADHD, or autism spectrum disorder. Included on that screenshot is also the number of students who identified under those permanent disability categories in the year 2011-2012, with 131 identified as learning disabled, 24 with a mobility impairment, 15 with a visual impairment, 9 as deaf or hard of hearing, 94 with ABI health or functional impairments, and 269 as psychological, ADD, ADHD, or autism, with total students at 542 and students with temporary disabilities at 188, which made the total number of students served 730. Next slide, number 4, shared responsibility. With an image of 3 turn wheels, and each turn wheel is a different name. The DRC is one, a student is another, and the faculty the third. Next slide, number 5. The CSU policy for the provision of accommodations and support services to students with disabilities, with a hyperlink to the website www.calstate.edu/AR/S-W-D policy F,I,N,L,PDF. Under the website link are disability categories, documentation of disability, modification of academic requirements, services, and reasonable accommodations, all as areas that can be explored on the given webpage link. Next slide. The CSU policy for the provision of accommodations and support services to students with disabilities. Section 11 states, appeals procedures. Students denied a requested accommodation may appeal the decision through on-campus informal and formal dispute resolution processes. Services authorized by the Director of the Program for Students with Disabilities must continue during the grievance process. Given on the web slide is a link to Student Policy and Procedures for Resolving University 504/ADA Accommodation Disputes. Next slide, number 6, Universal Design for Learning. On the slide is an image of 3 circles that are all overlapping. Those in each circle is a different word. 1 is presentation, 2 engagement, and 3 assessment/expression. The field of universal design can provide a starting point for developing a framework for instruction. You can apply this body of knowledge to create courses where lectures, discussions, visual aids, videos, printed materials, labs, and fieldwork are accessible to all students. Please visit the webpage www.education.uiowa.edu edu/universalaccess/index.htm for more information. Next slide. UDL, beyond listening, reading, and exams. Flexible methods of presentation include lectures, readings, handouts, lecture outlines, PowerPoint, videos, podcasts, demonstrations, etc. Multiple and flexible means of engagement include digital books, specialized software, web-based tutorials, videos, hands-on projects, field trips, groups, practice exams, etc. Multiple and flexible means of expression/evaluation include quizzes, exams, projects, presentations, peer reviews, homework, extra credit, papers, etc. Next slide, number 7. Access to electronic information. Websites, videos, Polylearn/Moodle, mobile devices, webinars, e-learning resources, distance ed classes, podcasts. The most critical issue facing students with disabilities in higher education today is access to electronic information. Web-based instructional materials must be developed and designed using the approved accessibility standards. For more information, see Cal Poly's Accessibility and Information Resources. Next slide, Accessible Technology Initiative, with a link to the web page www.accessibility.calpoly.edu. CSU Executive Order 926. It is the policy of the CSU to make information technology resources and services accessible to all CSU students, faculty, staff, and the general public regardless of disability. Number 8. Most common accommodations include alternative testing, typically extended time in a distraction-limited environment, note-taking, interpreter/transcriber, print alternatives such as Braille, large print, audio, or electronic text, transportation. Next slide, number 9, maintain confidentiality. Next slide, number 10, when in doubt. When in doubt, ask reasonable accommodations are provided to individuals with disabilities in order to ensure they have an equal opportunity to participate in all programs and activities. Civil rights laws protect individuals from discrimination, but do not require special privileges or unreasonable accommodation. Accommodation should not fundamentally alter the nature of the academic task or activity. Next slide. Thank you. This presentation, PowerPoint, was put together by Trey Duffy, the Director of the Disability Resource Center. His contact information is given, including a phone number at 756-5752 and his email address, duffy@calpoly.edu.